Yay Media Group. If people aren't too much in your business, then you're like, okay, I want to hang out with you. Does that make sense?
Business?
I hate you.
Pretend.
Okay, we're done.
Hey everybody, welcome to a bonus episode of Togethermess. We know it's the holidays and everyone has things to do and you guys are running around, maybe putting stuff together. So this whole episode is going to be dedicated to Dear Crabbies that we do if you're not familiar with the show. It's a play on Dear Abby. And some questions, some Q&A that you guys have wrote into Jordan. It's Wroten, right? I always say written in or wroten in. I got that weird...
I always say the wrong things.
It's
and
Wroten.
Everybody corrects me.
Remember when I was on the rooftop? I think I played it for people. Maybe I'm haunted by that memory. I got PTSD of when I was on that rooftop in Thailand. Mm-hmm. And I kept saying written in or wroten in, and I couldn't get it right. We'll play that right now for you if you haven't seen it.
Those are just a few examples of some of the messages that were written in. They're written?
Yep. It's all good.
Those are just a few examples of some of the messages.
There were a ton more.
I got it. Yeah, I got it. I said messages wrong. That was just a couple examples of some of the messages that were written in. Oh my! I want to jump off this balcony.
Oh, good, dude. All good.
That was just a couple of the messages that were written in on the board.
Wrote in. Who wrote in those messages?
Who that?
Who that? Who wrote in those messages? Who wrote in those messages?
Dude, I'm never going to get through this.
That was it. But I couldn't get it right, and I was so tired, and I was like, I couldn't get the words out of my mouth. It was just one of those things. We've played it before, but it's funny just
that
to
it
take a
gets
look back.
comical because you're like, why can't I figure this
So
out?
funny, so funny. So I hope you enjoyed that.
You know what I get confused when you write? You're like, I read that instead of read. I'm like, you don't write read, R-E-D. You still write it R-E-A-D. Like, oh, I read that already. And then I'm always like R-E-A-D, but.
You want to put like R-E-E-D?
No, that's read.
What are you saying? What are you saying? They're both the same word?
Yeah, but like, okay, you're reading the book, but if somebody, like the other day, somebody texts me and I go, oh, I already read that. And I'm like.
But it's spelled the same.
But yeah, but I'm like read, and I'm like, am I saying that right? But then it's spelled R-E-A-D, but you want to put read, R-E-D, like I've read that.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But
yeah, so
it's
you want to make a past tense.
R-E-A-D. You write R-E-A-D. I read that.
Listen, we are in no position to be giving English lessons to anybody.
Watch it. There's going to be like people are going to be like, no, that's still wrong, Jordan.
There's a YouTube page, not YouTube, there's an Instagram page that I see, like it's just one guy. It's actually really comical. I wish I knew his name. I'd give him a shout out. But he goes over like the English language and like if you're teaching a little kid and it's like that. And like, you read the book and they're like, oh, so it's R-E-D. And he's like, no, it's the same. He doesn't use that one specifically. He might, but he points out all the flaws in the English language that don't make any sense.
That's me. I'm the flaw of English language.
Yeah.
Or I'll just do a voice text. And then after my voice text, because I say the words, they sound wrong. And it always does all my words wrong. And everybody always laughs. They're like, are you doing a voice text message? Because your stuff is always wrong when you do that.
Yeah, and my theirs, I try my best with
Oh,
the
yeah,
R-E
my
and
theirs
the
always
EIR.
get messed up.
And don't even get me started on the word colonel because where did that come from? But anyways, let's get to some Dear Crabbies. We'll jump right in. So this one is from Dana. Thanks, Dana, for writing in. She says, hey, Jeff and Jordan, shout out from Chicagoland area. Wow, isn't Chicago amazing? During the holidays. I love it. So, Jeff, I love when you talk about the old school Chicago days and references to Jardiniere. Oh, man, my Jardiniere. My neighbor just asked me the other day, he's like, hey, we're having beef sandwiches and we're out of Jardiniere. Could you run yours over? He goes, I'll buy it from you. Oh. And I was like, no, buddy. I'm like, just run over. I have jars all over. So hopefully that's coming summer 2024 or 2025. What year is it?
2020.
Jesus. Where is the time gone? Let's get back to the questions. Some quick BB questions. I've always wondered, how cold are the cold showers in the BB house? And do they just say they're cold and they're just hot and you act like they're cold. There's no acting. They're cold.
I love these new questions we're getting from people because this is stuff new that we've never shared before. But yes, they're very cold. They're like ice cold. When I was on Slop, I think this was 11. I hope I'm not confusing it. I would shave my legs outside in the backyard because remember that?
I do remember that.
And I would put shaving cream on and use the hose because wasn't it a hose I used? I used a hose. Or was it the hot tub?
Oh, I think you did the hot tub.
I used the hot tub water. I can't remember, you guys. I'm thinking 16 years ago. I remember shaving in the backyard because I didn't want to shave my legs in the shower because it is so cold. And they kept putting me on Slop. That might have been that same season.
Or you could go in the hot tub. It's bad for a minute. It's actually, I take cold showers.
Like cold showers.
Yeah, I take cold showers at home now. It's actually really refreshing because I don't have a cold plunge. But if you're doing something and you take a cold shower in the morning or after a workout, it's horrible, but trust me, you get used to it. And it does give you a boost of energy, especially in a cold plunge. But even a cold shower.
But with me, I mean, I want the water like burning my skin.
Yeah,
I want it super hot. And that might explain why my skin's so dry in the winter.
That might be it. And then to finish Dana's question, she said, what does Slop taste like? We got in this one so much. And if you have compared it to something. We've compared
plain oatmeal.
There you go.
And for me, it would like run through me. It was the oatmeal or Slop. It didn't agree with me at all. Like my stomach always hurt.
This next question is from Shelly. This is a good one, actually. I like this. Do you ever feel stressed by some followers to display a loving and great relationship like you're always on? Is there ever, obviously we're not perfect. We get into our squabbles and things like that, but do you ever feel pressure like you don't want to show that side, at least on social media, to the outside world?
I mean, I don't think I've ever showed, like if we are fighting, I've never showed that, but maybe in the beginning when we were first dating, yes. Now, we've been together so long, I don't care.
I think we kind of air a lot of our grievances on the podcast.
I think so. I mean, I feel like we're definitely open books. We don't share a lot of personal things.
The question is, do you ever feel pressure from that?
Maybe when we were first dating, yes. And when we were first off the show, because people were a little much. All right, Christmas is right around the corner. We're all going to be eating just as much as we did for Thanksgiving, probably more sugary things for Christmas. That's me. And trying to stay healthy, you need your AG1.
That's right. And I don't want to get too far away from my diet. I know everybody lets themselves go a little bit during the holidays, especially for Thanksgiving, especially for Christmas. You let yourself make more excuses of why you shouldn't eat healthy, but that doesn't mean you can't eat healthy and maintain what you have before you start your New Year's goals.
I've started making my excuses and not eating healthy for 2 months now, and I got to get back on track. I was doing really well, but one thing I stay consistent on is my AG1. 12 months now, almost a year.
There you go. And it makes you feel good, right? You get your vitamins. I've been saying this all along. It cut down my vitamin intake by more than 75%. I only take a handful of vitamins with my AG1 every single morning. Even if I don't get my workout in like I like to every single day, I always take my AG1.
One thing that I have been adding, when I make my AG1, I do 4 ounces now, and I add vitamin D3 plus K2 drops into my AG1, and then I take the omega-3s.
Yes.
On top of that, feeling pretty good.
And make sure if you're traveling this holiday season, make sure you get those AG1 travel packets. They're super essential. They pop right in your bag. Take a couple of them with you when you're out of town and make sure you get those vitamins in.
I always have to take Big Sexy some because he always forgets. He always forgets his AG1. And every time he's like, dude, I need my travel packs. Can you loan me some? I don't know how many travel packs Big Sexy has got.
Well, give the gift of AG1 this holiday season. Don't be stealing your son-in-law's AG1.
I can't go without my AG1. I can tell whenever I don't take it. This new year, try AG1 for yourself. It's the perfect time to start a new healthy habit. And that's why we have been partnering with AG1 for 12 months now. And if you go to drinkag1.com/togetherness, you'll save $20 off your subscription or $49 off when you sign up for a double subscription, just like we have. Plus, you get a free welcome kit bottle of D3K2 and 5 free travel packs. So make sure you check out drinkag1.com/togetherness to get this offer and start your new year on a healthier note. Read that.
Wow, that was great.
Really?
No, it was good.
I remember one time, this is going back like in the very beginning, you were somewhere with Lindsay. Lindsay I've worked with. Lindsay was Jeff's agent in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I've known Lindsay forever. And people didn't know who Lindsay was. And Lindsay is a cute girl and love her to death. And I remember people were like, oh, did you see Jeff was out with this hot brunette, or, you know, just writing something crazy. Or people were like, Jeff's such a jerk. He had his arm around da 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 da. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like things like that were annoying to me.
Yeah. That was, I think that was more when we were more relevant.
Yes, we're not relevant anymore.
Yeah, I don't think
if somebody saw us, they would, like I said before, like, people know him from Daily Blast Live. People don't even know who I am at all. And from Big Brother. But
now it's not so much the public. You know, obviously we're out on a date with somebody might notice, but that never happens.
They notice you, people, because I think your accent and you're louder. People always, and you look the same. You know, I think when my hair's
all gray.
I'll be honest, when I get fatter, like when I gain weight, that's when people recognize me. So, okay, this is funny. If people tell me that I look like Miranda Lambert, I know I'm getting fatter, because that's like when people recognize me from Big Brother. And then when I lose weight, I get told somebody else, and then that's how I know I'm getting skinnier. So that's like my reference. So I'm like, oh, I must look like how I did on Big Brother. So that's how I always know I'm like getting fatter if somebody tells me that. Dead serious.
Yeah, I don't want to comment on that, but I know what you mean.
It's so funny.
It's so funny. I do multiple times have I been like on the phone or talking to somebody, and someone will peek their head around the corner, like over like the aisle, like, you know, when you pay at the grocery store. Someone once said, like, pop their head over, and I was like, what's that person doing? Because I don't even realize. Like, sometimes I do realize, like, if I'm in a big event, I'm like, someone's probably going to notice me here. But most of the time, I'm not even aware of like that I did all those things and someone might notice me. So someone pops their heads over and they're like, I thought that was you. I heard your voice. And it's happened a couple times where they just heard my loud voice and they're like, I knew that was you from Big Brother, the show. I
got told, this was probably 4 months ago, and I got so excited. Somebody was like, I know you from somewhere, and like couldn't put it together. And I don't ever say Big Brother because that was so long ago. And I was like, oh, I do this podcast with my husband. She goes, oh, you're the podcast girl. And I got so excited because she recognized me from Togethermess.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And it made me feel so good. I'm like, somebody recognized me from the podcast. And she called me the podcast girl. And I got excited.
You know what I don't know. Now I'm just getting off on a little thing, because it's great when people want to take a picture even after all these years. That's beautiful. I love that. But I hate when someone's like, where do I know you from? And I'm like, oh my God, like, are we going to play this game? You know, like, you don't. So I'm like, do you watch Daily Blast Live? And they're like, no, I don't watch TV. And I'm like, all right, well, what do you want from me? I'm like, do you ever watch Big Brother? Maybe. What's Big Brother? I'm like, dude, what's happening here? You asked me where I know you from. Like, do you want me to go through my resume with you right now? And they're like, and then all of a sudden they're like put off. Like, yeah, I'm not really a big TV person. I'm like, I don't even know you. What are you asking me for?
Or somebody says, I don't know, what is it? oh, I don't know who you are. I've never even watched Big Brother. And it's like, you don't even have to, who cares?
I know.
And you're like, all right, cool, thanks.
What?
It's almost like they're trying to throw a jab at you, but to be cool. And you're just like, awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always, if you guys, I'm not just saying that, if you ever meet me, even if I'm fighting with Jordan, I'll like jump in and smile and take a picture with you. But there are some times when people are just trying to be like,
Kind of jerky.
Yeah, they want to get, not under your skin, but you're taking a picture with somebody and they're like, who are you?
Yeah.
You know?
And then you're like, oh, we're nobody.
And one time someone's like, I'm like, oh, I did this TV show a long time ago. Now I'm on this show. And they're like, oh yeah, I don't watch TV. I'm like, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I'm an accountant at ADP. I'm like, yeah, I don't really know a lot of people that work at ADP. Like I made like a funny joke, like, well, I don't really care what you do either. You know what I mean?
Or I've had somebody, this made me laugh. I might have shared this before. Somebody's like, Daily Blast Slop, because they were like, oh, what does your husband do? This was probably when we first moved here to Denver. And I was like, oh, we moved here because my husband works on this show. It's like, oh, what is it? And it's like, I've never heard of it. I don't watch that. Same thing what we're just talking about. And this person on Instagram, I saw her on Instagram. I like looked her up or whatever. And then I saw she was following like Sam and Tori and everybody. And I go,
like, oh, you don't watch?
I go, you don't watch it? In my head, I was like, you don't like. And then after that, I was like, we'll never be friends. I don't trust you at all. And so somebody playing dumb like that. But
Why
she was
I
already.
don't understand that. And sometimes I could sniff it out. Like, I don't know. I don't
I've
mind. Like I
done
said, I'm 99%. If you see me, I'll definitely say hi and strike up a conversation and all that stuff. You know what I mean? It's just that 1% that I know they're being snarky and I know they want some sort of reaction. And they're like, yeah, I don't really do that. You know, like we don't. I'm like, I didn't even ask you. I don't even know you.
People just play dumb.
Yeah,
like,
they wanna,
I've never heard.
They want to show that they don't care about you, but they don't even know you, but they're still talking to you. Like, then get away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Go the other way.
I had somebody one time she didn't even acknowledge me. And then she found out that you worked on a show. Somebody told her, which I never said that, like, oh, that you worked on a show. And then all of a sudden she's like, you need to come see me. I do blah, blah, blah. Oh, and we'll have you in at the office. And I'm like, no. I'm never coming.
What are you going to do? Anyways, this kind of goes along. We got it. This kind of goes along with Casey wrote in a question. Thanks for the question, Casey. I love you guys and been a fan since Big Brother. This kind of goes along with what we were saying. Do your kids know where you met and are they familiar with Big Brother? And have you ever let them watch your seasons? Hope the best for you and your family. Love your podcast.
I have a funny story. Last Christmas.
How's that song go?
What?
Last
Christmas, I gave you my heart. We always think of our friend Bob.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a funny story. So last Christmas, Leighton gets up from the table. He said he was done eating and goes and turns on YouTube. And it's me, Jeff, and Lawson still sitting at the dining room table eating Christmas dinner. Adulting is hard. I mean, nobody wants to pay your taxes, right? I'm just kidding. You always got your mortgage. You always have to figure out what's for dinner because you have kids. There's just a lot going on. I wish I was a kid.
Yeah.
Life was much easier.
And you know what's hard as well? Finding a good doctor. As you guys all know, I'm going through some life changes, some job changes, and I recently had to pick up some new insurance. And the hardest part about that is finding a good doctor. It's kind of like finding a good mechanic. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high quality in-network doctors so you choose the right one for your needs. All you do is click and instantly book that appointment. It's as simple as that. It's something we're going through right now as we speak.
We actually just went through that because I had a list of my doctors wrote down for Jeff. And I was like, I will not take this insurance if I cannot see my doctors.
Right. But if you don't have an insurance agent, ZocDoc is the perfect choice because you could instantly find out if your doctor is in network or not.
And you want something like this because a lot of doctors' offices these days, they want you to call the insurance and figure out if they're in network, and ZocDoc will let you know right away. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skin care, and much more.
Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments.
I love same-day appointments because I'm so last minute all the time. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Togethermess to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/Togetherness, MESS. ZocDoc.com/Togetherness.
It's me, Jeff, and Lawson still sitting at the dining room table eating Christmas dinner. Lawson gets up from the table, goes to the couch. He comes back and goes, Leighton's crying. I go, why is Leighton crying? What's wrong? And I was like, I know he didn't fall and hurt himself because I didn't hear anything. I don't know how he found it. Somehow he got on Big Brother 13. And it was when Jeff left the house. It was on YouTube. I don't know what, and he doesn't know how to read or write anything. And it was when you got evicted from the house. And I was crying. It was the Shelly, that one.
Oh,
and I yelled at Shelly.
Yeah.
Leighton's crying, and he goes, they kicked Daddy out. And he goes, he's gone, and you're crying, and they're mean to you. I go, Leighton, that's fake. Like, don't. I mean, those were real emotions, but to my kid, I was like, that's fake. We're all friends. And I was like, your dad had to go, just making something up, but he was crying. He was 5. It was just super cute, but no, we don't talk about Big Brother really around our kids. They've never, Leighton saw that episode. We've never actually sat and turned on an episode. The kids know we are on Big Brother. Well, they'll ask how we met, and we told them a show, Big Brother, but Lawson will know because people at school, people who watched, he's like, oh, they watched Big Brother, but they don't care.
No, but
They're
Lawson
young.
is a little bit older, and over the years, people stop and talk to me, about Daily Blast Live or Big Brother. So he always asks, because he's like, why did that stranger talk to you? So now he's starting to get it. So now when someone stops me, he's like, do they watch Daily Blast Live, or did they watch Big Brother? So he'll ask me now. I'm like, oh, they knew me from Big Brother. So he kind of gets it a little bit. And once in a while he'll say he'll even say it to the person. Be like, do you know my dad from Daily Blast Live? And then he's like, do you know Julie Chen, Dad? He asked me, he's like, do you know Julie Chen? I'm like, yeah, I know Julie. He's like, really? Could you call her? I'm like, I don't know if I could call her, but if we saw her, I'd say hi.
It was so cute. Shout out to the ladies. I forgot their names in the cafeteria at Lawson's school. They are the sweetest ladies.
Oh, that's right.
But Lawson, didn't he have something funny he told you? He's like, oh, she watches Jeff on Daily Blast Live. He won't say Dad. He watches
he said
Jeff.
something funny about it. I don't know. Yeah, it was something funny. But he kind of gets it. Leighton doesn't really.
Oh, because somebody asked what you were doing for work, and he goes, Jeff has a podcast.
Or he works out in the basement.
I think somebody else asked what you were doing for work, and he goes, he just works out in the basement.
Yeah, what's your dad doing now? He goes, he just works out in the basement. But anyways, so Gert, Gert. Gert wants to know, I just want to say I love you guys. Start by saying that even when you're bickering, I love you. That's great. Thank you, Gert. So, okay, my question is, in my 40s, late 40s, boo. I feel you, Gert, and have found myself lacking friends. When COVID hit, I quickly learned who was there for me and who was just using me to help them, and I decided to cut the users out of my life. I think this is kind of relatable to a lot of people. Turns out I had a lot of bad friends. Now I don't know how to find new good friends. I'm single and have no kids, so I can't use my kids to meet other parents, and now I'm not a bar girl, so she doesn't go out and drink. What's your advice? This is a good one.
Oof, I think you're better at that. Jeff's good at, you're really good at knowing people, and you're good at staying away, keeping your distance with people, but being nice with people. I'm not so much. Well, now I feel like I am. That's a hard one. I think when you're older, it's so much harder to meet true friendships. One thing I'll say, if somebody's not checking on you, somebody's not, hey, you want to go out to dinner? Or, hey, let's just come over to your house and hang out. No one's asking you like how things are going in your life. I feel like that's a red flag. If somebody's not like, well, how are things going on with you? Just asking you genuinely how you're doing. I feel like you kind of know.
Yeah, that's a tough one,
friends.
especially, if you don't drink, but you don't have to drink even if you go to a bar. And what I mean by that is a lot of bars, especially during the week, they have like trivia or fun games. And that's a great place to meet people, just like a local hangout. If you have like a YMCA, bingo night. I know that sounds super old. I'm 46 and I love bingo. So just like community events, I don't know what part of town you live in. Traveling has always been my go-to. Even when I travel by myself, there's always another traveler there. And I mean, that's the big scope of things. I don't know if you could afford all that, but when I was young, that's what I used to do. And it's easy to strike up a conversation because you're not from there. So maybe think outside the box a little bit, go outside your comfort zone a little bit. Because once you get outside your comfort zone, you discover things that you never knew were in your life. So going to little community events, going to a bar and just getting something to eat and a nice tea. You could meet people that way, and people are usually very communicative around that. And I think just little social events, and again, getting outside that comfort zone of yours, like I need to be in my bubble, otherwise people won't accept me. You need to get over that, because even your friends, as you get older, that circle gets smaller and smaller from kids that you knew when you went to grade school together. So you're eventually going to lose some of those friends just naturally, but my advice would be to get outside of your comfort zone, sign up for a bowling league, sign up for something crazy that you never thought you'd do, an art class, and go from there.
Don't think because someone has 10 friends, it's better to have, what is that saying? Quality over quantity.
There you go.
Quality over quantity. And I have very few friends. I don't have a lot of friends. We hang out a lot with our neighbors and that took a while to build, it wasn't like overnight. You kind of give people space and let them warm up to you. And now we're all like super close. But for me, what helped, I don't know if you're a pool person. I always met people at the pool. One of my really good friends now, I met her at the pool, just talking, just sitting there, sitting out in the sun. And then my first friend that I met here in Denver, I met her by being at the pool because it was just a lot easier for me to strike up a conversation because I'm more shy and kind of standoffish. But like if you were just sitting at the edge of the pool, it's just easy to be like, oh, it's so hot today. And then you kind of just start talking and they're like, oh, where are you from? I, as of now, don't drink. And next year, I'll have it on occasion, but I think your real friends too will be okay with you not drinking. If you are spending the holidays with your family this year, you are going to hear a lot of stories, a lot of maybe stories you've heard over and over again. My grandpa's that guy. He tells those stories and we still laugh like it's the first time we've heard it.
I'm that guy. I'm becoming that guy.
You are. Like your family will laugh and I don't laugh. And you're like, why aren't you laughing? I'm like, well, I've heard it 5 times. But what's great about this is Storyworth. It's so cute. And a lot of you wrote me and said that you have done Storyworth before.
Okay, so if you haven't heard of Storyworth, here's how it works. Each week, Storyworth emails your loved one a thought-provoking question that you get to help pick out. Things like, what's the bravest thing you ever done, for instance? Or what's the farthest you ever traveled? Or how did you get to school every day growing up?
It makes the writing process a breeze and it's easy for everyone to use. All your loved one needs to do is respond to that email with a story. Long or short, it doesn't matter.
Over the holidays, keep it a little longer. Spend some time with your family.
What's great is when your loved one passes away, you got this book That's what I love
I
about
know.
it. And then you have all these memories and you have like their thoughts. I don't know. I love it. I'm very emotional lately. It makes me want to cry. You'll be emailed a copy of your loved one's response as they're submitted over the course of the year. After that year of fun, Storyworth compiles your loved one's stories and photos into a beautiful keepsake hardcover book that you'll be able to share and revisit for generations to come. I could see that in my living room.
I really do love that stuff because I love sentimental things. I think it's the best gift ever. But don't take our word for it. That's why Storyworth has over 35,000 five-star reviews on Trustpilot with millions of stories preserved since they were founded over 10 years ago.
Help your family members share and capture their stories this holiday season with Storyworth. Go to storyworth.com/togetherness today to save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com, STORYWORTH.com/togetherness to save $10 on your first purchase. Storyworth.com/togetherness.
Make some memories that laugh. Make some memories that last a lifetime.
Are you Mike Tyson? Make some memories that last a lifetime. You don't have to be at a bar to strike up a conversation. And I feel like when I was drinking, I was more social. I felt like I had more friends because I was being more social and more fun. And then when I'm not drinking, I'm more reserved.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. That was a lot. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought my advice was pretty good too.
Yeah, your advice was way better than mine.
Gert, hit the pool. It's wintertime, so spend some time at the pool.
No,
That's great
I'm
advice.
just saying. That's how I met people, was at the pool. I wasn't telling them to go to the pool now.
Get out to your local pool in the winter and make some friends.
Hey,
Gert.
you might have a rec center.
I know. I'm just kidding for the sake of Gert.
Or your neighbors. Like I don't know. I just feel like when you start opening up to people, people open up to you. And then it's kind of, if people aren't too much in your business, then you're like, okay, I want to hang out with you. Does that make sense?
Business?
I hate you.
Pretend.
Okay, we're done.
No, oh my God, my side hurts. That made me laugh. I totally had a question in here and I lost it because you're rambling on. I didn't even know where I was. All right, well, I'll just take an easy one here. I wanted to answer some longer ones, but we'll just get into an easy one. So this last one is from Katya, and she says, Dear Togethermess, I'm hoping you can help me find my way and knowing how to do it. Anyway, she talks about moving from Germany to US. This is kind of long. I'm going to shorten it up. So she got divorced from her dad. She was an army brat and she moves around a lot. So my dilemma, I visited my sister in Montana a few years ago while she was stationed there and fell in love. I really want to move up north, but the thing is I am coming out of a very abusive relationship from over 10 years. I had to leave everything and lose everything. So I'm starting from scratch. I have a daughter who's excited for the future. My question, since I am starting over again, and both of you have moved states in the past, what is the best way to go about it? Do you save up a certain amount of money for the move? Plus, how do you find a job in the area? So maybe let's talk about the moving part first.
Okay, moving part first. For
a lot
us,
going on there.
California, we were a lot younger, so we didn't really plan it. We just kind of left. I packed my bags, you packed your bags. We drove there, and we stayed at his buddy's house for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we went to a couple friends.
Bouncing around because it was really hard to find an apartment. And it was like, what can we find that we can afford? And it was really hard getting an apartment, but we didn't really plan it. But like I said, if it was now, it would be totally different. Then
And one of the questions was, do you save up for the move? So I would save up a little bit of money, especially if it's harder. You might have to get a hotel if you don't have something lined up right away. So you're going to want a little bit of money because things might not go exactly according to plan.
Right. Then for Colorado, when we moved here, we had Lawson, and Jeff found out he got the job here. And then I did all of someone gave him a real estate agent, and we weren't going to buy a house because we did not know how long DBL would last. So his contract was only for 3 years. So we just talked to a real estate agent and we're like, where do we want to live with a family? But we don't want to buy a house. So she suggested to us where we should start. And it was the perfect place. It was a great community with a mixture of everybody, singles, married people, people with kids, divorced people. We were kind of with everyone at the apartment.
Yeah.
And then it was a great start. But for me, I would do my research before I move. So if you're looking, I would look at the area. Where do you want to be? See what you can afford in that area and just research it. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I looked up, when I found this house, I would stay up like it was my job looking for houses. And both my houses, nobody found, like a real estate agent didn't help me. I found the houses. So I kind of narrowed it down what suburb I wanted to be in, and then just did all this research on the schools. Schools were number one for us. So wherever we were going to move, that really helped narrow it down to 2 suburbs. And then I just looked in different neighborhoods, see what we can afford. And then, what? And then Jeff was, bringing in the money. So
here's my advice in a nutshell. You said you were an army brat and your mom moved around. You're from Germany. I feel like Europeans are very, they're more open to change and a change of life. I feel like Americans stay in their bubble a little bit more. Not saying that's everybody, but since you moved around so much and you did fall in love in Montana seems like a beautiful place. I say, since you're used to moving around like that and you do have family kind of spread out over the US, I hope everything goes well, but I say roll the dice. I love love. So hit Montana, see if that works out. And you know what? You could always come back to wherever home is. I know you said your mom got divorced, but she's in the United States. Your sister's still up in Montana. So I feel like you roll the dice, give it a shot. If it's not working out in any sort of way, don't force the situation, because you do have some outs and some exits and you're used to moving. So I say give it a shot.
I would go to Montana.
Yeah.
I would. And then somebody always told me home is always there. When I moved away and I was depressed, leaving North Carolina, and I was homesick and I would go home every month, I remember somebody was like, home is always going to be there.
Right.
So try it.
So the best way to find yourself is to get lost. So go get lost in Montana and live long and prosper. Sorry, Katya, I went a little Star Trek at the end, but that's it.
But I would look in where you want to be in Montana, where you're going to be happy.
Do you know what a good button is?
Yes, that was a good button. Okay, I just wanted to throw that in there.
Oh, well, that's a good button. We'll end on that.
Okay, all right, guys. Thank you for listening. Happy holidays, all that good stuff. And thank you.
Keep writing in the questions.
I love the Dear Crabbies. They're so good. And the questions are getting even better every time. Thank you for downloading, subscribing, all that good stuff. And
Togethermesspod@gmail.com. Keep the questions coming, and we'll keep our bad advice coming.
Yes. Bye.